Welcome back to Lessons with Alina. Today is lesson 3 of your punch needle journey. Today we're going to start stitching our project. If you haven't already, go back and watch lesson 1 on materials and lesson 2 on setup. Before you start stitching your project, you do want to think about which side you're going to display. If you want to display the flat stitches, you're going to want to leave your yarn ends on the loopy side. And if you want to display the loopy texture, you're going to want to leave your yarn ends on your flat stitch side. Let me show you. First, I will show you how to start your yarn if you want to display the modern flat stitches. Insert your needle into the fabric all the way up until the handle hits. Reach behind and gently pull the yarn to the back of the fabric. You only need about 3 inches of yarn. You're going to pull the needle out of the fabric and slide the tip across the fabric, punching back in at your next spot until the handle hits. A couple of things to note. The open side of my needle is facing the direction that I'm traveling, with my yarn trailing behind. Continue traveling down the line of your pattern, trying to make stitches even in size. When you get to a corner or a point that you need to turn, there are 2 ways that you can do this. The first way is to turn your hoop. Then continue punching in that direction. The second way is to turn your punch needle and continue punching in the new direction. I would suggest doing whichever is more comfortable to you. When you're finished with a certain area and you want to change to a different yarn or move to a different area of your pattern, flip your project over and loosen the yarn that's in your needle. Snip your yarn so that the end stays on the back and slowly pull your needle and the other end of the yarn out. You may be wondering where to even start on your punch needle project. I like to do the smallest areas first and then building up to the larger areas and leave the background to last. With each section, you're going to outline the area first and then consecutively fill in until your fabric is completely covered. If you want to display the traditional loopy side, you're going to insert your punch needle tool all the way until the handle hits. You're going to pull the needle out of the fabric and slide the tip across the fabric, punching back in at your next spot until the handle hits. You're going to continue these steps, punching on the line of your pattern. Pulling the needle out, sliding across the fabric, and pushing back in. You're going to want to turn over your project and check your loops. Our loops should be evenly spaced apart and consistent in length. When you're finished with a certain area and you want to change to a different yarn or move to a different area of your pattern, you're going to want to leave your yarn end on the opposite of your display side again. You're going to slowly pull your needle out, holding your yarn with your thumb. Then simply snip the yarn, leaving about 2 inches. One question I often get is, how big should my stitches be? If you're going to display the modern flat stitches, I recommend 3 to 4 stitches per inch. If you're going to be displaying the traditional loopy side, I suggest 4 to 5 stitches per inch. This ensures that the fabric is completely covered. If you're struggling with your punch needle stitches, go ahead and move on to tips and tricks, where I'll cover all of the typical difficulties when you're new to punch needle. And I'll give you simple tips so that you can be successful. Continue watching this series in punch needle embroidery. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow or subscribe to see more. Happy crafting!